Have you ever felt like life is slipping past you? Like you're standing still while everyone else seems to be rushing ahead on a train you somehow missed? You're not the only one. But here's the truth. You're not actually behind. It just feels that way. You feel behind in your career, in your sense of purpose, behind your peers, and especially behind the perfectly curated lives on your social media feed. You may believe you messed up, missed your chance, or that time is running out. But none of that is real. The truth is, you're not behind. You're distracted. Distracted by artificial timelines, distracted by the highlight reels of others, distracted by a system that tries to convince you that if you're not wildly successful by 25, you've somehow failed. The ancient Stoics saw through this illusion. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that the present moment is all we ever truly possess, not the anxieties of tomorrow, nor the regrets of yesterday. When you obsess over being behind, you're no longer grounded in the now, which is the only place where life actually happens. Look at the natural world for a moment. The oak tree doesn't rush to become tall and mighty. The mountain doesn't apologize for taking eons to form. As Lao Tzu wisely said, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Your life isn't meant to be a competition or a race. It's a personal journey of discovery. As the Buddha taught, comparison is the thief of joy. When you measure your life against someone else's path, you deny the sacredness of your own. Consider this. Steve Jobs was 52 when the iPhone was released. Vera Wang designed her first wedding dress at 40. Morgan Freeman's breakout role didn't come until his 50s. Were their clocks broken? No, they were simply on their own schedule. The modern world has sold us a toxic lie, that life moves in a straight line and success has an expiration date. But real life isn't linear. It's cyclical, spiral-shaped, sometimes chaotic. It includes seasons of rapid growth, but also necessary stillness. That nagging feeling of being behind. It may not be failure at all. It might be wisdom. It might be your soul resisting a path that was never meant for you. The Zen masters speak of beginner's mind, the openness that comes with starting anew, free of assumptions. There's an advantage to being behind. You gain perspective. You learn from others' mistakes. You get to choose your path with intention, not inertia. Your timeline is not dictated by social norms, Instagram updates, or LinkedIn milestones. It's written in the language of your deepest truths, your unique gifts, your particular calling. So take a breath. Let go of the tension that comes from chasing a phantom deadline. You haven't missed your moment. You're exactly where you need to be, learning what you need to learn. Remember, the tortoise didn't win the race by trying to be the hare. He won by walking his own steady pace. The feeling that you're running out of time is a lie, but it can still destroy you if you believe it. From a young age, we're taught to follow a script. Study hard, get a job, fall in love, buy a house, raise a family, retire. But that script wasn't written for you. It was written to keep you predictable. It expects you to have life figured out by 21, success by 25, and stability by 30. But who wrote those rules? And why should age define your worth? This manufactured timeline was never about fulfillment. It was about conformity. The ancient spiritual traditions knew this. The Buddha taught that attachment to expectations leads to suffering. The Stoics believed true freedom comes from rejecting societal programming and living according to nature's wisdom. Life doesn't move in straight lines. It loops, doubles back, pauses, and unfolds in its own rhythm. Those deadlines you're chasing, they're modern inventions. For most of human history, people measured life not by age, but by the cycles of nature, the passing of seasons, and the depth of wisdom gained. What if your delay is actually a period of preparation? What if your detour is the direct path in disguise? As Rumi said, what you seek is seeking you, but it might be operating on a schedule your ego doesn't understand. Extraordinary lives rarely follow ordinary timelines. Think of the late bloomers who changed the world by simply refusing to rush. Van Gogh began painting in his late 20s. Julia Child found her love for cooking at 36. Morgan Freeman became a household name well into his 50s. Their stories remind us of the Greek concept of kairos, the opportune, perfect moment. True timing isn't about the clock. It's about alignment. When preparation meets opportunity, your moment arrives. Comparison is joy's death sentence, as Twain noted. You are not a machine meant to match someone else's output. You are a human being with your own rhythm. Every day, you're bombarded with images of 20-something millionaires, flawless bodies, and perfect relationships. But you're seeing a highlight reel, not real life. You compare your unfiltered reality to their edited performance, and you forget how worthy you are. This illusion is nothing new. The ancient Vedic sages called it Maya, a veil of illusion that distorts reality. Today's version is curated through pixels, algorithms, and marketing strategies, not to enlighten you, but to keep you scrolling, doubting, and consuming. You suffer not because your life is broken, but because you've accepted a false narrative about what life should look like. What if you use the stoic tool of negative visualization? Picture the seemingly perfect lives without the filters, the branding, the lighting. See the anxiety behind the smiles, the insecurity behind the confidence, the ordinary human struggle behind the polished personas. Schopenhauer once said we forfeit most of ourselves to be like others. How much of your authentic self have you sacrificed chasing someone else's dream? How much joy have you dismissed because it wouldn't look good in a photo? The truest parts of life, peace, connection, quiet meaning, aren't camera ready. They don't earn likes, but they build a life worth living. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." You suffer because you compare. You believe time is running out, but it isn't. It's unfolding patiently and precisely. Our culture worships urgency. We white-knuckle through life, gripping tight to control, convinced that hurrying means arriving. But in doing so, we miss the journey itself. I know, I spent years watching the clock like it was an enemy. Every birthday, every New Year's Eve, every scroll through social media was a reminder that someone younger had already made it. But what if we've misunderstood time completely? What if time isn't a straight road but a spiral, bringing us back again and again to the lessons we need to grow? The mountains didn't rise in a day. Redwoods didn't rush to the sky. Even diamonds are formed over eons of pressure and darkness. In Taoist thought, there's a concept called Wu Wei, effortless action. It means flowing with life, not forcing it. The river never rushes. It doesn't compare itself to other rivers or try to skip the curves. It trusts its path. What would your life feel like if you trusted your own path too? What if your delays were protection, your setbacks were redirections, and your waiting was sacred preparation? The Japanese art of kintsugi, men's broken pottery with gold, making the cracks part of the beauty. What if your broken timeline isn't broken at all, but exactly what's needed to create something rare, meaningful, and whole?